well, we're hunting. My dad and I decided that we'd try to get in on a little bit of early archery. Wolves don't just live in the timber, they walk among us. 2 days before my dad and I saddled up for a 35-mile trip into the backcountry, Charlie Kirk was assassinated. A patriot silenced, a voice for faith and freedom gunned down in broad daylight. Some call it politics. I call it wolves in sheep clothing. Because predators don't just prowl on the ridgelines, they sit amongst us, in our culture. They hide within the flock. And if we don't stand, they will devour us.
Everything completely goes away. How do you want to be remembered?
I mean, if I die?
Everything just goes away. How would you, if you could be associated with one thing, how would you want to be remembered?
I want to be remembered for courage for my faith. That would be the most important thing.
Charlie Kirk's death was a wake-up call. He left behind a wife and 2 kids. And it makes you think, what if today was my last? Would my wife know what she means to me? Would my kids know the love that I carry for them? That's why I wrote a letter for every day I was gone. We spent the night at the trailhead. Then next morning, it rained that night. But the next morning we woke up, got the horses saddled, got the packs on the mules, and hit the trail. This place we were headed to wasn't just another trail. It's the country that my dad and my brothers poured their sweat into. The ridges where bugles used to shake the timber. The basins where bulls fell. And where our family made memories that lasted generations. This land raised me. It's a part of my family's history. A place once alive with elk, laughter, and purpose. We made it about halfway and crashed in front of a little forest cabin on the porch and threw up the tarp, had a little bit of dinner, and the next morning we hit the trail again and made it all the way in. We had to break the trip up into 2 days, just horses are out of shape and my butt is not the right shape for that saddle. But we got in last night and had some dinner. We ate some chicken sausage. We're both on carnivore, and I can't say we're like best prepared meal-wise, but we've been doing all right. A lot better than I expected. So we didn't really get up and at it this morning, but we, after we let the horses feed for a few hours, we went ahead and hit the trail again, and we got up on top in this beautiful country. So now we're just gonna do some glassing and see if we can't locate some critters. But when we rode in this time, there was only silence. No tracks, no bugles, no herds, just wolves. Their signs stamped into every trail. Their howls every night and every morning, glassed for miles. And the only thing that we saw was a doe and a yearling. Predators don't just take life, they erase legacy. They silence what used to be. Last for a while. Didn't see nothing. It's really unfortunate, but the whole way up here, miles and miles to get back in here, we didn't really see any sign. But the wolves are really bad in here, so we're kind of thinking that might be playing against us. We decided to go pop over another ridge and look down over the other side and see if we can't pick up on something over there. Decided we need a little break, So we're getting some calories in with some water and tuna. Carnivore diet, let's go. This evening has been a bust so far, but it is prime time, so we're doing a little bit of glassing on the way back to the horses. See if we can stir something out. The only thing that we've seen in terms of wildlife are a couple of old deer tracks, and they look like they're small tracks, so probably does. But like I said, it's prime time. It's 7:13, so we got a little bit of daylight left. Animals should be moving if they're out here. We made it back to the horses. We got a couple miles back to camp on horseback, so probably gonna hit the trail. Haven't seen anything, but doesn't mean we can't run into something on the way out or push something up. So I'm gonna get my bow and my scabbard, get it on the horse, and then rock and roll. On the way back to camp, it rained on us pretty hard. And so my dad got soaked. He left his rain gear at camp, and then I stayed fairly dry thanks to rain gear, but long story short, we got a fire going when we got back to camp, tried to get some things dried up, and we weren't able to tend to the horses kind of like we wanted to. So my dad's actually out watering them right now, and I am trying to wake up. So rained off and on all night, and so now we're just kind of getting around and see where the day takes us. We're up and at it, feeling a little more energized after the rough night we had, but it's super overcast, which kind of sucks because you can't glass. We can't even see the mountains on either side of the canyon that we're in. So right now we're just going to take this as an opportunity to get the horses fed. We set up a electric fence over here in this this little meadow. There's a lot of grass, so that way the horses can eat and stay healthy while we're back here in the backcountry. No, it's crazy because we're way back here in the backcountry. Like, we're over 35 miles from the trailhead, and you would think we would hear elk bugle, see something, but honestly the only thing that we've heard are wolves. And so we're thinking that the wolves may have run the elk out of this area. So, you know, that's a whole nother topic that we could dive off into. And I know it's a little controversial, but, you know, there's places that for years my family has hunted elk and been very successful, seeing hundreds of elk. And now we're in a situation where you don't even see old droppings. You just don't see any sign. So it's kind of sad, but it doesn't mean they're not somewhere in here. It could mean that they're bellied up in some other holler. So we're just gonna keep trying new places and see if we can't turn something up. We're gonna try to stay optimistic. This isn't just me talking. Montana holds over 1,000 wolves in 180 plus packs. Last year, nearly 300 were harvested, and the population didn't even budge. In Yellowstone alone, the elk herd dropped from 17,000 to just 8,000 in under a decade. And now the same story is bleeding into Montana. Ask anyone who's been here long enough. They'll tell you the herds aren't what they used to be. We got some steaks, some New Yorks being cooked over some coals. We got some coffee rolling. Keeping it carnivore, even though today is even though today is officially 90 days on carnivore. What started out as a 30-day voyage and pretty rough because I was struggling in the first couple weeks. I'm actually feeling really good. So we had to dig this trench around the teepee last night because we started having water puddle in the teepee. And if you know anything about these teepees, they are floorless. So we didn't want to have all of our gear sitting in mud. Went ahead and grabbed the little military foldable, collapsible shovel that my dad had and just dug this trench and found the lowest spot to run the water away from the tent. It worked actually pretty good, but unfortunately, about the time that I got the trench done, the heavy rain let up. But you never know, with as foggy as it is today and unpredictable as the weather has been. Okay, so we made some black coffee. We're using some of these, couldn't find the Black Rifle instant coffee packs, so we found these, they're FDC Fire Department coffee, skull crushing instant espresso coffee. They're also veteran owned and they're pretty bomb. We use some half and half packets and some collagen. And for mountain coffee, it's pretty good. Steak and coffee. Can't beat it. Well, plans have changed. Alarm went off this morning and unfortunately it was raining. So we didn't feel like getting out in the rain, riding in the, well, it was dark and it was raining. So not a good combo for what we were trying to do today. The game plan is kind of up in the air right now. We're going to see where the day takes us and see if it's going to rain again or if it's going to open up. I mean, we've had little blue patches of sky pop through, but nothing has stuck, and then it'll sprinkle a little more. So, you know, the kind of hunting that we're going to be doing is tough. If we don't know where the animals are at. We haven't seen any sign anywhere we've been. And if they're not talking and you can't glass because of the fog, it's really hard to hunt. So we had an amazing breakfast. We basically whipped up some sausage and eggs. We cooked a steak just because it's thawed out and we needed to cook it. We're going to probably have that later this evening for dinner. So far carnivore is going really well. Staying fed, feeling nourished. Last night was the best night of sleep that I got. And when the alarm went off, I was ready to rock and roll. But then it was raining. The other crazy thing is we started hearing the wolves howl, and they were not that far off. They were basically somewhere right up here on this ridge is what it sounded like. But I tried to get some audio of them, but I think my microphone was picking up the rain hitting the tent versus the wolves howling in the background, I think. Did y'all see that? Blue sky. We're holding on to some hope that it's going to clear up and the sun's going to pop out and we're going to be able to go hunting. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and saddle up the horses and hit the trail and at least go do some exploring, see if we can see some sign, hear some bugles, find some critters. It's kind of what we're holding out for. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and start saddling up and see if we can't hit the trail. Okay, we're basically almost saddled up. I'm going to put the camera in the saddlebag and then we're going to hit the trail. Wolves are here, and I'm not saying that we should wipe them out. I don't believe that any animal should go extinct if we can help it. But I do believe that we have a responsibility, a God-given call to be good stewards of the land and the life that He's placed in our care. In the beginning, way before sin ever entered the world, God told man to work the garden and to keep it. Stewardship has always been a part of our purpose. But now the balance is broken. The wolves, they're overpopulated, and it's showing. Elk herds are thinning. Valleys once full of bugles now echo with silence. It's not about hating wolves. It's about managing what we've been entrusted with. Because if we don't, we lose more than a hunt. We lose a legacy. And here's the thing, the wolves aren't just in the timber. They're in our culture. They look like leaders. They sound like good people. They promise peace, progress, but they leave destruction in their wake. Jesus warned us about them, wolves in sheep's clothing. And they're not just prowling around in Washington. They're prowling in our schools, our communities, even our homes, slowly eating away at truth, values, conviction. A lot of glassing and seeing a whole lot of nothing, which is a little discouraging. It's just beautiful country, mountains, clearings. It just looks like there should be animals in here, but they're not. The only thing we keep hearing are wolves. Doing the math, I think that is really playing against us right now. Well, breakfast was delicious. We had sirloins and coffee. We now decided that it would be a good time to go wash some clothes. Only brought one extra change. I've been wearing those Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, 6 days. So they're pretty ripe. We're gonna go down the creek and give those a wash. I got my second set on, so today the sun is shining, so we figured we get the clothes washed. Great day for them to dry out on this like clothesline kind of over the fire, so that way we, if these get all fouled up, we can switch over back into these clothes. No political party is going to save us. No man in the office is going to restore this nation. It's Christ alone. And the change, it starts with us, with me, with you. Are we putting Christ first in our homes, or are we too busy watching what's going on the TV? Faith without works is dead. Prayer without obedience is empty. The shield and shovel life means standing guard with faith in one hand and putting in the work with the other. We can't sit back and expect God to move mountains if we don't pick up a shovel that He's already put in our hands. Because if we don't stand now, if we don't protect what really matters, our faith, our families, and the land that we've been given, then the wolves, they win. It's been a minute since I provided an update, but we've been on the go pretty much ever since we left camp. We covered a lot of ground, seen some beautiful country. My dad bugled and cow called in multiple drainages and no response. So that's a little discouraging, but hey, another place we can check mark next to that we tried. I think at this point, since we're not really seeing anything, we're gonna go ahead and start making our way down the mountain. We got a little ways back to camp and it'll definitely be dark before we get there, so we can watch some of these hillsides on the way out, and who knows, we may stir something up or see something. Be nice to see anything. Like I said before, we'll take elk, mule deer, bear, shoot a wolf, all the above. So we're gonna get back on the horses and start heading down the mountain. What's on the menu today?
We got some sausage from a pig that we had butchered, and we have some beef stick links from Costco that are supposed to be pretty good.
Well, the trip is winding down to a close. It's been a fun time. I've got to experience some beautiful country. It's just a shame that there isn't more critters in here. It sounds like, based on the stories and even pictures of my dad and my brothers, that this used to be a pretty happening spot. It's kind of sad, as time goes on, things change. What used to be a valley full of elk and mountains loaded with elk, you can't even find a track and we've covered a lot of miles. So this isn't a pity party, it's just these are the facts, and this is kind of what happens when you don't go scouting before season. You come in during season, and then you find out that there's no critters in here. So that's just kind of a part of it, and at this point we're kind of made up our mind that we're probably going to head out tomorrow. Oh yeah. You feel like you're in an episode of the Hunger Games. We got detoured. We heard wolves howling as we were packing up early this morning, and we got an itch. So we chased after them, howled at them a little bit, and they were howling back. They were responding, so we were getting kind of pumped. And we set up on the edge of this burn, and it sounded like they were kind of coming in. It sounded like, we might get a shot at one. And so we took more of an aggressive approach than we have the last time we tried it. And we actually started inching our way up the hill where we were hearing them sound off. And there for a minute, I thought we might get us a wolf. But unfortunately we didn't. So it is what it is. We are now back. We've got everything set up. We've got all the bags weighed out so that way everything's even, it's balanced. It should ride good on the way out of here. We are gonna try to pull all it's like between 33 and 35 miles in one pull. So it's 12 o'clock. We're guessing it's gonna take us at least 10 hours. So it's gonna be a long day. We're gonna be riding a while in the dark if we end up pulling it off. We'll see. Also depends if my dad's hip can take that many hours in a saddle. So I'm gonna go help him get the horses. We're gonna get back over here, get all this packed up, and then douse out the fire, put some water on it, and then hit the trail. This trip broke something in me. On the way out, one long push, the last 3 hours in the dark, I made up my mind. Doing nothing is doing something. Complaining changes nothing. If I don't learn how to hunt wolves, start feeling those tags, or get involved where decisions are being made, then what's going to be left for my son when he's my age? Silence? Empty drainages? That's simply not an option. That's why this series exists. The shield represents faith, and the shovel is hard work. Don't ask God to move a mountain if you're not willing to pick up a shovel that he put in your hands. Jesus said, mustard seed faith can move mountains. James said, faith without works is dead. Both are true. Noah built an ark. Nehemiah rebuilt a wall with a sword in one hand and a tool in the other. David picked up stones before Goliath fell. Faith prays, but faith also sweats. So here's where I've been challenged, and I want to share it with you. What mountain are you begging God to move while your shovel rots in the dirt? Are you praying big prayers, but living with small obedience? Are you talking faith while refusing to swing the shovel? Look, I won't hand my kids silence where bugles once echoed. I won't hand them a country where faith and freedom are just stories passed down through the generations. Brothers, sisters, it's time. Pick up that shield, grab that shovel. Let's lock arms, get to work. Because the wolves aren't resting, and neither can we.